Hey everybody, and welcome back to Split Couch Games. I'm Scott,
And I'm Ben.
and this is Couchcast number 60. Today we're gonna be talking about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on Xbox One because we've both played it now, and we have some things to say. And Ben is hearing my voice super blown out, and we don't know why.
Yeah, so this will be fun. I'm gonna continuously fiddle with things on my end to see if maybe there's anything that I can do to fix it. But you keep talking.
I think it's Skype because I'm hearing you like blown out, but not like loud blown out. I don't know. Anyway, so I've played both the PC version and the Xbox version, so I have some thoughts on both. And Ben's obviously only played the Xbox One version, so we'll mostly be focusing on the Xbox version, but at some point I'll probably compare the two a little bit. But yeah, so I think that it's definitely an early access game because there's a lot of bugs that need to be worked on, namely crashing. Ben and I have played a couple games. One game I was running and I just crashed, and that was not fun. And I think I've crashed in maybe like 30% of the games I've played.
Yeah, I think that's about right, and
Yeah.
that's a lot more than what I have.
Yeah, but
So,
it's me, so we expect me to crash.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I've played, way more games than what you have on the Xbox One version.
Mm-hmm.
And including last night, I think I've only crashed in 3 of my games, like total.
Nice.
And over the last week, I've played over a dozen games as it is. So
I think I've played like 7 games, 8 games total, and probably have crashed 5.
yeah, and I feel like 2 out of the 3 times that I crashed, I think they were both in Yaz, which I think is funny.
I mean, Yaz is a large city, so there's a lot of things to load there.
Yeah,
Because it's the second largest city. I think that Georgia Pool might be slightly bigger. There's a lot more in that area.
yeah,
Especially with the water and everything. So I think that's probably to be expected. Yeah, I mean, other than that, and like even like the PC version though crashed a lot when it first came out too. So this is pretty just standard.
yeah,
So early access, still I think like, and then obviously there's the other big issue, which is the frame rate. Again, that was a big issue for the original PC launch as well. They're just really kind of their philosophy was like get the game in players' hands, and then we'll optimize it later for both releases.
yeah.
So I'm not worried about it, but it does have an impact. There is specifically last night, Ben and I were playing. I hit some frame rate issues, and I ended up just shooting him in the back a few times.
A few times.
Did
You shot me in the back enough to completely destroy the vest that I had on, and then kill me.
Yeah. Well, frame rate issues, man. But other than that, like, I'm actually pleasantly surprised by how well it plays. It's definitely not as precise as with the mouse and keyboard, and I kind of like that a little bit because it kind of gives you a chance in a lot of these fights where like on the PC version, if you're running and someone sees you and they just pop you a couple times with an assault rifle or one time with a sniper, like you're just dead. But on this, like missing is actually a thing, so you
Yeah,
have a little bit of you don't die as much in the middle of nowhere, like when you're running, because they're gonna miss their first couple shots most likely, and then you have a chance to react. And I think that's a big thing.
yeah. For me, I'm primarily like a console player in general. Not just with PUBG, but with pretty much all games. And the issue, I guess, that I've noticed is that there's no reticle stickiness or aim assist or anything, which is great. But it's kind of like this weird middle ground where the console version has like an expectation of you're gonna be less accurate, but at the same time, like, it almost demands you to be as accurate. And for me, that is just a little problematic, just because, especially in close quarters battles and everything, it's very easy for me to overshoot when I'm, trying to center my aim on someone. So, it's like I'll pass too far to the left and, oh, fuck, I missed. So then I try to go back to the right and I miss again. And, I mean, typically it's only ever been an issue when I'm using a shotgun or something. But I don't know. It's definitely an issue in general, I think. And I don't know if it's anything that necessarily needs to be fixed as much as it is simply just adapting to the lack of that utility, because it is a pretty standard practice across across shooters in general on consoles to have a little bit of reticle stickiness or magnetism, whatever you may want to call it.
It's aim assist,
Reticle magnetism and aim assist are two totally different things.
I suppose that's true. Good point.
Because reticle magnetism is like, if you pass over an enemy, your turning speed will slow down as it passes over the enemy, so that you have a better chance of stopping on the enemy. And that's because, joysticks obviously are far less precise than what a mouse is.
Yeah.
And then aim assist is obviously like the, behind the scenes, like, oh, well, you technically shot him, like, in the shoulder, but you were close enough to the head that we're going to kind of recalculate the trajectory of your bullet so it hits the head. That's what aim assist is. Like, if you dig into the meat and the bones of those systems, like, that's basically what it is it goes like, okay, well, you thought you were aiming for the head, but you technically pulled the trigger on this frame, so it would have hit him in the shoulder, but we're going to be a little nice to you.
All right.
And like I said, I don't necessarily think that PUBG needs those systems. I wouldn't mind if they were there, but I also feel like it would make it almost too easy. I feel like the lack of those systems makes it appropriately difficult.
I think, like, maybe, like you were saying, because I mostly only noticed it with the shotguns. Maybe, like, a slight... Because I feel like shotguns are really good in the opening. When you land and you're like, oh, a shotgun, because then you run into your friend or your opponent's building and then you just shoot them. And it's super, super simple. But, like, after that, they're so useless because it's all about... Mostly it's all about range fighting. Or fighting at range. So shotgun just loses a lot of its effectiveness, and it's possible that to extend that, it might be a matter of allowing them to be a little bit more accurate. With just the shotguns. Like, I don't think auto weapons need it. And I don't think snipers should have it, because then you just run into an issue of people just sniping you as you're running through the field with way too much ease. I mean, but I think for the most part the gunplay seems fine. I'm trying to figure out, like, how much my using claw makes it easier, because I'm definitely, like, significantly better at the Xbox version than I am at the PC version. And yeah, I don't know if it does, but I do tend to jump in fights a little bit. So, like, or like, and also like crouching is a lot easier because I don't have to like stop turning. Um,
I mean, I guess, but this isn't really a game where, you know, turning and
yeah,
everything like in the middle of a fight is typically that beneficial. You know, it's
yeah,
not like Halo or anything where it's like, you know, if you stop moving, you die. It's kind of like, well, if you stop moving, you're actually going to have a chance at hitting this other person.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it. Yeah, like I think you said, it doesn't really affect anything, but I, I'm just like I'm so significantly better at the Xbox version than I am at the PC version, and part of that is like I'm much more comfortable with the controller. All right, we're back from that weird pause that you didn't notice until I just said it. So, ha. Um, what were we talking about?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Skype has been acting up, so now we're finishing this over the phone. We're probably gonna cut this a little bit short because of that. Also illness, but anyway, I think we were talking about movement in fights, and
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
and how, yeah, you use claw, and is that beneficial? Is
yeah.
it not? I don't know.
I
I mean,
mean, I don't think it
I
hurts
don't
anything.
use it at all.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, probably not. I mean, if the only thing that I could see it hurting is just simply like you trying to do too much
yeah,
all at the same time, and considering, you know, that again, PUBG is a game that benefits from shooting while you're standing still and crouched and that kind of thing. um
yeah,
I can only see that, you know, if you're trying to, like, you know, rotate and jump around and everything while you're shooting, like, that's just going to make you more inaccurate and you're going to miss more shots.
yeah.
um
What I have
you
noticed
know
though is that it does help me get prepared, um, going around corners. I think, um, because sometimes I do jump just to like make it harder for people to get headshots. So like I jump around corners. I think that's the biggest thing.
hmm.
But I don't think I think you're right. I don't think it really is affecting the skill that much. But yeah. I guess like, are you enjoying it for the
Yeah,
viewers at
I
home?
mean, I'm definitely having fun. It's something that, you know, I only play, like, you know, a couple games of every now and then. And even, you know, once the game is, you know, patched and fully released and everything, and, you know, runs really well, I probably won't be playing it, you know, like day in and day out or anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, you know, like a fun little addition to my collection of games and everything. So, um, and it's a nice way to. I feel like it's kind of like a welcome change in the multiplayer game genre, I guess.
Mhm.
In the sense that, you know, it's like I can hop in and play a game, and it's like, you know, even if I die like right away, I sit there and I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, that was a fair death. You
Yeah.
know, either because I did something incredibly stupid, or, you know, I messed something up in some way, or maybe I just didn't have a weapon and I ran into a room and there was a guy with a shotgun or something, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and that's not something that is very prevalent. I feel like most multiplayer games nowadays, you know, even in Overwatch and that kind of thing, are kind of riddled with moments of like, I really shouldn't have fucking died there. Like, what the hell? And,
Yeah.
you know,
Do you think that that's a result of it being a slower tactical game as opposed to an like I it's not really an action game, I suppose.
um, I definitely feel like that's part of it. The
Mhm.
fact that it is, you know, like slower paced and tactical, but I feel like the main thing is simply that, like, you know, everybody starts with nothing,
Yeah.
and even if you only have, you know, like a micro Uzi and you're going up against a guy with like an M16 or whatever, you still have a chance at winning.
Mhm.
Your chances are obviously, you know, like far lower if he's, you know, decked out in full gear and you have next to nothing. Um, but with the current dichotomy of the game and everything, is simply being that, you know, like everybody starts with nothing, and then it is more reliant on, you know, thought out plans and tactics and everything.
Hmm.
I do feel like that lends itself a little better to more fair and understanding game results,
Yeah.
and even more so than you know, like Rainbow Six Siege. That's not really a game that I can say that I've played enough of to have any sort of justifiable claim to how it plays or anything.
Yeah.
But I played during the beta, and I played you know, a few games during one of the free weekends it's had over the years, and it definitely was very much a, you know, a game that was focused around, you know, the defenders just kind of like camp and wait, and then if you happen to go around the wrong corner, then you're pretty much dead because there's some dude who is just, you know, waiting, reticle aimed at the one spot.
Yeah.
And even though that does, or even though that is a game that, you know, lends itself a little more to being tactically advantageous and everything, I've never felt that way in my time with it. It's always felt like just more of a, okay, well, you know, that guy was more patient than what I was, or he knows the map a little bit better, so he knew that, you know,
Yeah.
these are the few corners that I could possibly come around, and that kind of thing. And I know that that's like part of the meta of that game and that type of thing, but it's not anything that I've ever enjoyed. And there is a certain amount of advantage that you get when it comes to knowing the map and everything in PUBG.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is primarily only really in your benefit when you are looking for, you know, a path out of the town or something because the circle is closing in.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the weapon spawns are completely random and everything. It's not like, you know, you can go like, oh, well, you know, I landed in Yaz. I know that if I go to the third apartment on the left and up to the third floor, that there's going to be an M16 and a 4X or something, you know?
Yeah.
So, I feel like it has an appropriate level of random
Yeah.
while also starting everybody on the same playing field. So,
Yeah, I think that you touched on something, is that like map knowledge is not super important. Mostly it's the most it really does is moving around the map. You kind of know, like if you kind of stay on this ridge line, on the other side there's going to be a forest that you're going to have a good cover from, and so like you kind
yeah.
of. But like each engagement like is all pretty laid out for you. It's like there's some trees and there's some rocks and maybe there's like some dips and stuff in the terrain, but
Yeah.
it's all right in front of you, all really easy to wrap your head around, and even if you've never seen that area before, like your skill is what's gonna matter.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like in the end, you know, that's going to be what helps make PUBG shine, is just simply that, you know, it is balanced in almost the weirdest way where, you know, you can start the game and it can be very unfair and you die right away. But then, you know, there will be other times where it's like, you know, you land and you find all the best stuff and then you still die right away.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've, you know, like I said, you know, I've really been enjoying that a lot, and I'm looking forward to them, you know, patching the game, you know, improving the stability and that kind of thing, so it's not crashing and the
And
frame rate is
improving
consistent.
the
And
inventory system.
yeah, the inventory system does leave a little bit to be desired,
Yeah.
especially considering that I feel like there are some of the functions of the inventory system that just don't work.
Yeah.
Like there have definitely been times where it's like, you know, I was trying to equip an attachment that was on the ground in front of me, and in doing so, it's like it would give me the option to do it, but then I would like hit the button and it wouldn't actually do anything. Like I would have to pick it up off the ground, put it into my inventory, and then equip it to the gun that I wanted. And that's kind of problematic sometimes, like if your inventory is currently full, because that means you have to drop something, pick up the attachment, equip it to your gun, then pick that other thing back up.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, in general, I feel like it's going in a good direction, and I honestly really hope that a little later on down the road, either they figure out some like ridiculously amazing engine optimizations or to
Mm-hmm.
improve performance and that kind of thing, or maybe they even in some way, shape, or form change the graphical style of the game a little bit
Mm.
so that it runs better without having a huge sacrifice to like level of detail and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like right now, one of the things that I find kind of annoying is that the range on your guns is pretty realistic, and by that I mean you can shoot pretty far, and as long as your sight is zeroed appropriately and you're being accurate, like you can kill somebody from really far out. But the
Yeah.
trouble is you can't see people from all that far out. um,
Yeah.
and it's because like level of detail and object culling and that kind of thing are pulled in so close to the player that it
Yeah.
makes range much less of an advantage.
Yeah. And again, like a lot of the problems that you're saying there were part of the PC problem as well, even if you had a really beefy PC. Um, so it's probably not going to be like ever going to be perfect, but it's definitely going to be better, assuming that they put
Yeah,
the work into it.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, my biggest thing is just simply the draw distance and everything on the
yeah.
trees and everything. I think needs to be improved. And
Yeah.
it has always been shocking to me that they've had such trouble optimizing this game when I think it's just on Unreal 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it's not even like a super like complicated like custom built engine or anything. So there
Yeah.
are definitely ways to do it, and I'm sure one of the biggest hurdles is just simply networking for 100 different people can
Yeah.
be kind of challenging. But
It's that,
um,
and then it's also that like the entire map is loaded at all times. Um,
yeah,
so it might be, yeah, I don't know. Like they would have to change a lot of code, but like a client side loading thing where it only loads the pockets around you that you could see. But
yeah,
it,
I imagine that wouldn't relieve a whole lot of
yeah,
hardware though, just simply because of um, the fact that even if it was only loading the map in chunks like that, it would still have to stay networked to everybody who's in all those other chunks that you don't have loaded, and it would have
yeah,
to be keeping inventory of everything. Not only
yeah,
that, but I feel like the loading pockets would cause problems with vehicle traversal.
yeah, for sure. I mean,
Um,
yeah, I don't think there's really a good solution because even if they did implement it, it's just like I said, a complete rewrite of their code.
yeah, definitely.
Um, which would probably just be better spent just optimizing.
Yeah,
And like I said, I think it's gonna happen. The game runs pretty well when there's only like 2 to 4 people around. It's the moment like there's like 5 people around, it kind of starts getting a little choppy.
yeah.
Um,
And even then, I feel like it definitely depends on what area of the map you're in.
yeah,
Because there have been times where there's like me and like 8 other people in and around school, and it's fine. Um, but there was one time where it was like me and like 4 other people in like the prison area, and
hmm,
it was chugging pretty hard, and it was also the beginning of the game, so that probably had something to do with it. But
yeah. A lot of times the beginning of the game is rough on PC as well.
yeah,
Um, just kind of depends on the server you're on and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, my only like real like not like legitimate but like pressing complaint is the inventory system. I feel like I've gotten fucked a couple times. The controls seem to work pretty well. We got to figure out how to throw grenades because I think we could have won that game last night if we had the ability to frag that guy in the field.
yeah.
Um,
That's definitely. I mean, I know that there has to be an easy way to do it,
Yeah, I just
Um,
didn't. It just never came up before. So I was like, I don't know how to do this.
yeah, because I mean, the only time I've ever had a grenade equipped or whatever is when it's like the first thing that I find and I pick it up just to pick it up.
Yeah. Oh shit!
And
It's in the
then
D-pad, isn't it? It's like the opposite of healing or something like that, isn't it?
no, because I think that switches you to your melee weapon. So it might be like left or right.
Left is burst,
Uh,
so I guess it would be right, or like switching between
okay.
auto.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably exactly what it is. It's
Because you switch
switching
between your different types of
equipments.
grenades, and then
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
All right. Well,
figured that
now
one
we
out.
know. Yeah.
Let us know if we're wrong, but yeah, that makes sense. And then of course there was a time that I couldn't revive you because I it I thought that you had to hold the X button to revive, and I was like sitting there, I was like, it's not reviving you. But no, it's
Yeah.
you have to like firmly press it. Like it's kind of like odd because it's like a tap doesn't do it, but you have to really like firmly.
Yeah.
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 All right. That's about all I have on it. Hopefully the gameplay will be PUBG related, Xbox version, so you guys can kind of see what we're talking about.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So let us know if you've played it. Let us know your thoughts, or if you're waiting for it to see how the next few patches go, or if you're waiting for like a full release. Whatever the case may be, let us know in the comments down below. And sorry for the shortness of this, but technical difficulties and illness get in the way. So
Yeah, it's not too much shorter.
yeah. So anyway,
But, yeah.
we'll see you guys next time on Split Couch Games.
Bye.
Bye.